Have you ever wondered how a little boy born in a poor family with no wealth, no powerful background, and no shortcuts became one of the most respected people in the history of India? This is not just a story of a president. This is not just the story of a scientist. This is the story of a dream that refuses to die. Hello everyone, I am Bhavitastri. Today I invite you to travel back in the time to a small island town called Rameshwaram. A place surrounded by the sea. A place where an ordinary boy began an extraordinary journey. That boy was Abdul Jalaluddin Abdul Kalam. He was born on 15th October 1931. His father was a simple boat owner. His mother was a kind and caring homemaker. The family was not rich. In fact, there were many days when money was difficult to find. But there was something in that house more valuable than money: honesty, discipline, kindness, faith. Those values become the greatest wealth of young Kalam. As a child, he didn't wake up to luxury. He woke up before sunrise while many children were still asleep. Kalam was already working. He delivered the newspapers to help support his family. Imagine that for a moment, a little boy carrying the newspapers in his hands while carrying the dreams in his heart. He never complained. He never blamed his circumstances. He understood a lesson that many people still struggling to learn. Your starting point does not decide your destination. Every newspaper he delivered brought him one step closer to his dreams. Every challenge made him stronger. Every difficult day taught him discipline. But his greatest weapon was curiosity. He loved asking questions. He wanted to know how birds fly, how the sky worked, how missions moved, while others saw the birds flying. Kalam saw a future where two would touch the skies. One day, his science teacher took the students to the seashore. The teacher pointed at the birds flying over the ocean. He explained how they used their wings, how they balanced themselves, and how they trusted the wind. The simple lesson changed the young Kalam forever. Sometimes one teacher, one lesson, or one moment can change the direction of the entire life. From that day, Kalam made a promise to himself: I'll work with everything I have until I make my dream comes true. Life was not easy. There was failures, there was disappointments, there was moments when success seemed impossible. But Abdul Kalam never allowed the problems to become excuses. He believed something extraordinary. Dreams are not what you see while sleeping. Dreams are the thoughts that keep you awake until you achieve them. Those words became more than a quote. They became the way he lived his life. Every sunrise reminded him of his purpose. Every sunset reminded him that time was precious. He never asked her why the life is difficult. Instead, he asked her, what can I learn today? That simple changes in thinking made all the difference, and perhaps it can make all the difference in your life too, because success does not begin when the life becomes easy. Success begins when you decide that your dreams are more powerful than your excuses. This little boy from Rameshwaram had no idea that one day the entire nation would call him the people's president. But every great journey begins with one step, and Abdul Kalam had already taken this. The boy who once delivered the newspapers was now preparing to build the future of India. Abdul Kalam knew one truth: poverty could take away comfort, but it could never take away knowledge. With a determination in his heart, he continued his education. He studied the physics and later joined in the Madras Institute of Technology to study the aeronautical engineering. But life tested him once again. One day, his professor looked at his aircraft design project. He was not impressed. He gave Kalam a strict deadline: if you don't complete this project on time, your scholarship will be cancelled. For a moment, Kalam felt fear, because without that scholarship, continuing his education would become almost impossible. But instead of complaining, he chose an action. For days and the nights, he worked without stopping. He forgot comfort, he forgot sleep. He remembered only one thing, his dream. When the project was finally completed, his professor smiled. He looked at the Kalam and said, "I was putting you under the pressure to discover your true potential." That day, Kalam learned a lesson that changed his life forever. Pressure does not always break you. Sometimes it reveals the strength that was hidden inside you. After completing his studies, Kalam dreamed of becoming a fighter pilot. He worked hard. He prepared with all his heart. Finally, the selection day arrived. Only few candidates would be chosen. Kalam gave everything he had, but when the results were announced, he stood ninth. Only the top 8 were selected. His dream was over. Imagine that moment, years of preparation, years of hope, and then one number changed everything. Many people would have stopped dreaming. Many people would have blamed fate. But Abdul Kalam did something different. He accepted the disappointment. Without accepting the defeat, he believed that when one door closes, life may be preparing a better one. Instead of giving up, he joined the Defense Research and Development Organization. Soon after, he became part of the Indian Space Research Organization. There, his real journey began. India was still developing its space technology. Resources were limited. Failures were common. The world doubted India's capability. But Kalam never measured success by how easy the path was. He measured success by how meaningful the destination was. Then came one of the biggest moments of his life. India's first satellite launch vehicle. Everyone had high hopes. The countdown began. Rocket lifted into sky. For a few moments, everything looks perfect. Then it's failed. Years of hard work ended in the disappointment. The entire nation was watching. Criticism followed. But something remarkable happened. Kalam's senior leaders stood before the media and accepted the responsibility for the failure. He protected his team. 1 year later, when the mission succeeded, that same leader asked Kalam to face the media and receive the credit. That moment taught Kalam a lesson he never forgot. A true leader accepts the failure and shares the success. He carried that lesson throughout his life. Every setback became a classroom, every failure became a teacher, every challenge became another step towards greatness. The little boy from Rameshwaram was no longer chasing his dreams alone. He was helping an entire nation dream bigger, and the world was beginning to notice. Failure didn't stop that Abdul Kalam. It prepared him day after day, year after year. He worked with one mission: to make the India stronger, to make the India self-relevant. His dedication led him to play a key role in the India's missile development programs. Soon, the entire nation began calling him. But do you know what made him truly great? It was not the missile, it was not the award, it was not the power, it was his humility. Even after becoming one of the India's greatest scientists, he lived a simple life. He believed that greatness is not measured by what you won, but by what you give to others. In 2002, history was made. The boy who once sold newspapers became the 11th President of India. Think about that. No political dynasty, no inherited power, only hard work, only discipline, only an unshakable dream. Yet, even a president, he never stopped being a teacher. whenever he visited schools and the colleges. His eyes lit up because he believed the igniting minds of the youth are the most powerful resource of earth. He never wanted young people to think small. He wanted them to dream beyond the limits. He often said, dream, dream, dream. Dreams transform into the thoughts, and the thoughts result in the actions. These were not just beautiful words. They were the story of his own life. He proved that poor boy from a small town could inspire an entire nation. Then came one final lesson. On 27th July 2015, Dr. Abdul Kalam was doing that what he loved most. He was delivering a lecture to students, not resting, not seeking comfort. He was inspiring the young minds. While speaking, he collapsed, and that day, India lost a president. But the world gained the timeless legacy. He lifted this world exactly. Now, let me ask you something. If Abdul Kalam had allowed the poverty to defeat him, would India have known the missile man? If he had given up after failing to become the fighter pilot, would millions of students have found hope in his story? The answer is no. His life teaches us one simple truth. Your circumstances do not define your destiny. Your decisions do. If you are struggling today, remember Abdul Kalam. If you feel that your dreams are too big, remember Kalam. If people tell you that you cannot succeed, remember Kalam. Because greatness is not born in comfort. It is built through the courage. Before I leave, I want to leave you with one. But remember, a dream is not what you see when you sleep. A dream is what keeps you awake until you achieve it.